Hey everybody, I want to welcome you to Ask Deb. This is a Friday morning. We try to do this every Friday morning where you send me your greatest concern questions, things that are getting in your way of you achieving your dreams and creating a successful business. And then I spend Friday morning trying to answer those questions the best I can. So we're going to have a lot of fun today. I'm so glad you're here. It's good to see you. Hey Trina. Hey Melissa, good to have you guys with me. So let me give you our topic today, and then here's what I'm going to suggest you do. Close your eyes and think about anybody who's been complaining or concerned about this, and make sure that you tag them in this or share it with them. We're going to talk today about overwhelm. How do you overcome overwhelm? You know, one of the questions I get all the time is people who say, Deb, I have so many things on my to-do list every single day that I am just constantly stressed out. I'm in overwhelm, I'm in stress, I can't think clearly, I don't know what to do about it. Help! So that's what we're going to focus on today. I hope you guys, tag somebody who's been in overwhelm, tag somebody who has said something to you like, I can't handle it. And let's get going. So for those of you who don't know me, let me back up for a minute and tell you who I am. My name is Deb Erickson, and I'm a business mindset coach. I work pretty exclusively with women who are in sales and direct sales and network marketing, entrepreneurs, women who are out there in the world trying to make their way, build a business, and create true freedom for themselves and their family. So if that's you, if you're the one saying, hey, I need some help today, I'm out here all by myself, and I want you to check in with us and let me help you with this issue of overwhelm. All right, so you ready to rock and roll? So let's start by saying, what is overwhelm? Let's define it. If you actually look in the dictionary, what you're going to see about overwhelm is that it's a feeling of being, basically, think of it like a tidal wave coming at you. It's the feeling of being completely engulfed, right? Completely overcome with something, right? In other words, you're a victim, you're a helpless victim, and the energy is coming at you is like a tidal wave. It is so big. Here you are sitting in this little itty bitty boat, like a rowboat, and this energy is coming at you. So if that's you, tell me. So what I'd like you to do is just think about what overwhelm feels like and write in the notes real quick, right? Just text me and say, hey, Deb, this is what it feels like to me, right? So in general, it is the feeling of being overcome or engulfed. In other words, too much stimulation, too much stuff coming at me, and I don't know how to deal with it, right? All right, so when that energy comes at you and you are overcome, you are overwhelmed, you are overstimulated, how do I handle that feeling of, I'm going to call it helplessness, hopelessness, victimhood? How do I get out of that energy? Because here's what that is, guys. That puts you at the far negative side of the emotional scale. You guys get it? It's about the worst emotion that you can feel is helpless, hopeless, victimhood, lack of control. So the first thing I want you to know is that the reason it doesn't feel good to you is that it's an extreme negative emotion. And the second thing is that it is the place where your brain shuts down. Did you know that? When you go into high stress, your brain becomes more and more, I'm going to call it like incapacitated. So the higher the stress level goes, the less cognitive ability you have. So what's happening when you're overwhelmed is you got all this energy coming at you, you go into helpless energy, and immediately your brain becomes less functioning. You can't think, right? You're just kind of like blinded. And so as stress rises and you can't think, then what it does is it increases that helplessness more. It's as if you are drowning, right? It's like the tidal wave came, it knocked you out of the boat, and now you're flailing around drowning. And one of the things you know if you've ever taken life-saving techniques is that when someone begins to go into that stress, they're not thinking, they're not focused, They can't, there's no awareness. There is only survival energy going on. So that's what this is doing, is overwhelm is throwing you into survival mode. So what do we do about it? Well, the first thing is you got to stop. You got to stop what's going on, because what's happening is as the energy is coming at you and you are throwing yourself into this energy, into this survival energy by what you say. You guys get it? There really is no tidal wave. There really is nothing coming at you. There is a habitual practice where you are saying, I'm overwhelmed. And in that moment, when you scream and you say you're an overwhelm, you are creating pictures in your mind. You are telling yourself the worst possible stories. So you are working yourself into a frenzy. You guys got it? And so as you work yourself into a frenzy and you tell yourself the stories, you're escalating the stress, you're escalating the helplessness. And as you do that, you can think less and less and less. So what we want to do is just yell, stop. Right? Stop the craziness, stop the conversation, stop the madness, just stop. And the best way to do that, guys, if you're not driving, if you aren't operating heavy machinery, is I'm going to tell you, just close your eyes. Just close your eyes if you can. So do that with me now. Just close your eyes if you're not driving. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And in the silence and in the deep breath, okay, what happens is the storyline that you've been telling calms down. Take a deep breath. Good. And on the out breath, breathe through your mouth. Okay. And if you can, what I want you to do is on the in breath say, I got this. I got this. Because the most important thing that you can do to combat overwhelm is to claim power. When you claim control and power, the helplessness goes away. So breathe in. Say to yourself, I got this. Good. And on the out breath, just release any helplessness, hopelessness. Just let it out. And just say to yourself, release or relax. They're two of my favorite personal commands for me. When I'm going through something, that's what I always do, is I'll just say, relax, Erickson. Relax. I got this. Relax. I got this. You guys got it? I got this. Just relax. So as stress is getting bigger, and as you are talking yourself into overwhelm, all you got to do is stop the craziness. Take that deep breath. Good. Now, as you are breathing to yourself and as you take over the control of what it is that's going on in your mind, and you decide to talk to yourself in a calm, quiet, rational way, I always use my last name because that's how my coach always talked to me. So I always say, Erickson, it's not a big deal. You're in charge here. You get to pick. You're in control. You got this. So as I'm talking to myself and calming the energy down, the next step, and this is really critical, guys, the next step is to look at the list. If you've got a big to-do list, look at the list and pick one thing. One thing. And so what I always do is I say to myself, if I only got one thing done today, if there was only one thing I could get accomplished, what is the most important task? If I'm looking at my business list, my business to-do list, what's the one thing that's an income producing task? If I get that one thing done, I can breathe. Okay? What's the one thing that's most critical? What's the one thing, one step I can take, one action? Because here's what's really cool. When you say to yourself, what's the one most important thing I can get done today? It releases all the stress because your brain goes, oh, I can do one thing. I got that. So it immediately shifts the brain from that overwhelmed victim energy into control. I got this. One thing, I could do one thing. I could do one thing all day long. And so all of a sudden your confidence comes back, your energy comes back because you're taking all the pressure off. Now, the other thing I want to tell you guys is the reason you have pressure and you've put pressure on yourself, is because you're telling yourself stories. I have to do this, otherwise I won't be a good mom. People will judge me. Things will fall apart. You're telling yourself the story about all the bad stuff, the external judgment, the lack of perfection, whatever it is that your story is, by the way. You have a story that you tell yourself to hype your own energy up and to throw you into overwhelm. So let me remind you what we're doing. Is I want to remind you that when you feel overwhelmed, I want you to take control. I want you to say, wait a minute, this is all just happening in my own head. This is just my own stories, my own energy that's running in my head. This has nothing to do with anything else. I'm allowing my little stories in my brain to run me down the negative side of the emotional scale. I'm allowing it to take away, rob me of my power, my energy, and my confidence. It's shoving me into stress mode. I can't think. The energy's going down where I'm thinking. Breathe, right? Breathe and go, wait a minute. Let me take control again. Let me take control of my thinking. This is all an illusion. I'm just going to take charge again. So I take a breath. I take control of my self-talk and say, I got this. And then I'm going to take one step forward, just one. So what is one thing that I could do right now that would begin the motion forward? Or if I'm only going to do one thing today, what's the most important thing I can do? What is it that I can use to get going today? You guys get it? So what does all of this do? Well, what it does, guys, is it causes the overwhelm stimulation to pause. In fact, that's a technique I used to use all the time, is I would just say pause, like I'm hitting the pause button on one of those old recorders, right? Pause. And it's as if the world stops, and what I can see is, oh, this is all just in my head. This is all just in my head. I'm the one working myself into overwhelm. I'm the one telling the story this way. And if I can pause it for a minute, I regain the sense of control of my thoughts, of my focus, of my energy. And I'll say to myself, what's one thing that I can do today, and move into action. Now, you know what happens 9 times out of 10, by the way, is that when you pick one thing that you go, that's it, that's what I'm going to focus on, all of a sudden the energy comes back, your clarity comes back, your mental focus comes back, your motivation comes back, everything comes rushing back because you're no longer in helplessness. You guys get it? Helplessness sucks everything out of you. The minute you feel like, I got this, I'm back in control, helplessness goes away, energy rushes back, and now I can proceed with my day, and I could probably get a dozen things done, because that's who we are as women. We get lots of stuff done, and I can probably get back into that energy immediately because now I'm in action and I'm feeling powerful, as opposed to giving away my energy to overwhelm. Now I got one last thing I got to tell you guys, and that's this, that if you are the person that habitually talks about overwhelm, oh, I'm so overwhelmed, oh, then what you are doing is you are habitually throwing yourself into helplessness. You just created a bad habit for yourself. You are habitually throwing yourself out of the boat into the water. You guys got it? It's like there's no really good reason. You just are doing it because habitually you're doing it. So I want you to make a decision today that you are going to nix overwhelm. It is no longer going to be a part of your vocabulary. It is no longer going to be a part of habitual places you go. You're going to let it go, let it go, let it go. You got to let it go. You got to commit no more. Because when you do that, the minute you say, I'm no longer going to use this word, what you're doing is you're taking that word out of your vocabulary, out of your own internal dictionary, and you're saying, I'm not going to use it. And here's what's really fascinating, guys. If you don't use the word, you won't feel the feelings. Bam, the light bulbs go on. If you don't use the word, you won't feel the feelings. And so if I could give you one thing today, it's let go of it. If it does show up, take control. Right? Recognize the reason you're feeling horrible is because you are down on that side of the emotional scale. Come back. So my first suggestion is don't use the word anymore. But if it does slip out, because it will, if it does slip out, immediately recognize, nope, I'm not a victim. I'm in charge. I'm in control. Take a deep breath. And once you calm the energy back and your mental functions return, take one step. You guys got it? All right. I hope you loved Ask Deb today. Send me your questions. Tell me the things that are getting in the way of you living your greatness and owning your business the way you want to. I want to support you. I want to love on you. I want to give you everything you need. I want to also make you aware that we have a brand new group called Network Marketing Mindset for Women with Deb Erickson. Go find us and join. In fact, I think we're going to put a link right here so you'll have it. But this is the place where we are going to build a community of powerful women helping women, women helping women march forward and support each other. So I hope you guys will join. These recordings, Ask Deb, will all be posted there so you could get access to them. You don't have to look for them other places, right? Because bottom line, I want to free the women of the world. I want to give you the tools that you can, along with us, you can create a ripple effect, freeing yourself first, and then freeing the women in your life and empowering other women to free other women. You guys, that's how we make this change. Got it? Come join me. I hope you'll join our community, and we'll see you next week. Tell me what you want me to support you with. If you liked this video, please share it. Please get it out to the world and tell me how I can help you take your business to the next level. Thanks so much. I'm Deb Erickson. I want to be your business mindset coach. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.